the British monarchy, ancient, unshakable, eternal. Or so it seemed. But one decision from within the palace walls has sent tremors through the royal establishment, stirring whispers that stretch from London's elite halls to every corner of the globe. Prince William, the future king, has reportedly approved a dramatic change in titles for Duchess Sophie's children, a move that, on the surface, looks like tradition being honored. Yet to those who understand the subtle language of the crown, it signals something much deeper, a quiet reshaping of royal power itself. Inside Buckingham Palace, courtiers speak in hushed tones. Title changes are rarely mere formalities. They represent shifts in hierarchy, influence, and long-term vision. When William gave his blessing for James, formerly Viscount Severn, to become the Earl of Wessex, a title once held by his father, Prince Edward, the decision carried symbolism far beyond its apparent simplicity. It not only elevated James's position within the family, but suggested that William is already thinking like a king. The palace may still be ruled by Charles, but many now wonder if William has begun to shape the monarchy in his own image. To understand why this decision matters, one must first look at the woman whose quiet strength has helped redefine royal dignity: Sophie, Duchess of Edinburgh. For decades, Sophie has been the embodiment of grace without grandeur. Once a public relations executive navigating the modern world, she stepped into royal life not with entitlement, but with dedication. She became one of Queen Elizabeth II's most trusted confidants, a daughter-in-law who offered loyalty without seeking attention. While others in the royal circle courted the spotlight, Sophie built her influence silently, through service and steadiness. Those who worked alongside her recall her deep empathy and sharp intelligence. The late Queen, they say, saw in Sophie something rare, a kindred spirit grounded in duty rather than ambition. The bond between them grew so personal that Sophie once affectionately referred to Her Majesty as Mama during a public engagement. It was a small slip of the tongue, but one that revealed the warmth and familiarity between them. While many royals have focused on ceremonial roles within the United Kingdom, Sophie ventured into the world's most dangerous and forgotten corners. She traveled to South Sudan, Sierra Leone, and the Democratic Republic of Congo, places ravaged by conflict and silence. There, she listened to the stories of women brutalized by war, survivors who had been erased by history. Her advocacy for victims of sexual violence in war zones turned her from a quiet duchess into a global humanitarian voice. For this work, she received the Hillary Rodham Clinton Award, joining the ranks of advocates like Angelina Jolie, who have used their platforms for real change. Her commitment to humanity and service earned her a reputation as King Charles's secret weapon, a figure who could be relied upon to represent the crown without controversy. Yet Sophie's influence does not end with her. It extends to her children, Lady Louise Windsor and James, now the Earl of Wessex, young royals who may very well play critical roles in the monarchy's next chapter. For years, Sophie and her husband, Prince Edward, made an unusual choice for royal parents. They deliberately raised their children without the His or Her Royal Highness titles that were their birthright. Unlike their cousins, Louise and James were not styled as prince and princess. Instead, they grew up as the children of an earl, attending normal schools, socializing with non-royal peers, and avoiding the constant intrusion of cameras. Sophie explained this decision candidly in 2020, saying, "We try to bring them up with the understanding that they are very likely to have to work for a living." She wanted her children to understand life beyond the palace gates, to value independence over privilege. Though both technically have the right to adopt royal titles at 18, Sophie suggested it was highly unlikely they would ever do so. This approach earned Sophie and Edward admiration from the public. It felt like a breath of modernity. Royals who were raising their children as grounded individuals rather than pampered heirs. Yet the recent title change approved by Prince William has shifted that narrative. James's elevation from Viscount Severn to Earl of Wessex places him in a visible position within the royal structure. His sister, Lady Louise, is also appearing more frequently at official events, her poise and composure drawing quiet praise. Why now? And why under William's watch? The answer may lie in the future William is building, one that honors tradition but demands adaptation. The heir to the throne has always been known for his deliberate, strategic temperament. Unlike his father, who waited decades to modernize the crown, William seems to be doing so quietly, one decision at a time. His influence can already be seen in the tone of royal engagements, the media control surrounding his family, and now in the repositioning of who will stand beside him when his reign begins. The monarchy today faces unprecedented challenges. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's departure to America has left the working royal roster thin. Scandals surrounding Prince Andrew have further damaged the family's image. Princess Anne remains the most hard-working royal, yet age and duty weigh heavily on her shoulders. The result is a shrinking institution, one that must balance visibility with sustainability. In this landscape, William's approval of James's new title begins to look less like sentiment and more like strategy. By bringing Sophie and Edward's children closer to the royal center, William reinforces a branch of the family that has remained steadfast, scandal-free, and devoted to service. It is a move that strengthens his foundation, a quiet recruitment of loyalty before the next reign even begins. William's calculated precision contrasts sharply with the turbulent years that have defined royal history. Where previous generations ruled through spectacle, he operates through subtlety. He understands the importance of optics but also of trust. He has witnessed how public opinion can build or destroy a monarchy overnight. And so, rather than expand recklessly, he appears to be streamlining the crown. Fewer working royals, but ones with credibility and integrity. Inside palace corridors, the unspoken question echoes: is William already shaping the monarchy while his father still wears the crown? King Charles III, though deeply respected, carries the weight of time and illness. At 76, his reign feels less like a new beginning and more like a carefully managed transition. Queen Camilla, once vilified and now cautiously accepted, continues to balance her role as consort under constant scrutiny. Princess Anne remains tireless, but she cannot carry the monarchy's future alone. Amid this shifting balance, William's steady hand is evident. Public engagements show him taking the lead with increasing authority. His speeches are more assertive, his image more kingly. When he speaks about duty, service, and modern relevance, he speaks as if the future is already his responsibility. Every subtle move, the alliances he nurtures, the titles he approves, the family dynamics he recalibrates, appears to prepare for the moment he ascends the throne. For many observers, this moment marks the quiet birth of the William era. But it is not one of grandeur or revolution. It is a deliberate reorganization of royal DNA, one that prioritizes discretion over drama, resilience over noise, and measured evolution over reckless reinvention. Sophie, Duchess of Edinburgh, fits perfectly into that vision. Her steady reliability offers a model for what William's monarchy might look like, a crown that survives not through dominance, but through adaptability. Her children, Lady Louise and the Earl of Wessex, are the embodiment of this approach, modern, humble, yet ready to serve when called upon. The monarchy, in its essence, is a living organism. It bends, reshapes, and evolves to survive. In Elizabeth II's time, it was duty and silence. Under Charles, it became introspection and renewal. Under William, it may become refinement and restraint. Each generation must decide how much tradition to preserve and how much to quietly discard. Behind closed palace doors, courtiers whisper of changes that are not yet public, a redefinition of roles, a recalibration of responsibilities. And within this silence, one truth grows ever clearer. The power within the House of Windsor is shifting, slowly but decisively, toward the next generation. What William appears to be doing is far more profound than a title change. It's a message to the nation, to his family, and to the world that loyalty and quiet service are the currencies of the crown's future. While Charles reigns in name, William is rehearsing in purpose. He has seen how noise and rebellion have divided the family before. He knows that the monarchy's survival depends on stability, on the careful elevation of those who embody trust. Sophie's children symbolize that ideal. They are royal but relatable, privileged but private. Their upbringing away from palace excess now becomes an asset, a reminder that the monarchy can be human without being ordinary. Their reintroduction into royal visibility under William's watch signals a deliberate balancing act between tradition and evolution. And as Britain watches, the crown's metamorphosis unfolds in silence. The lavish coronations, the grand parades, the flashing cameras, those may still exist. But the real power lies in gestures like this one. A signature, a title, a quiet nod from the heir that rewrites the family's internal hierarchy. In every monarchy, there are moments of thunder, abdications, scandals, revolutions. But history often turns on whispers, on the decisions no one announces, but everyone feels. This title change is one of those moments, a subtle rearrangement that will echo for decades. For Sophie and Edward, it's a recognition of decades of loyal service. For James and Louise, it's an invitation back into royal relevance. And for William, it's a chess move, a subtle signal that he is already thinking several steps ahead. As the public speculates, the palace remains characteristically silent. Yet the symbolism is impossible to miss. William's monarchy is emerging, streamlined, deliberate, built not on spectacle, but on substance. A monarchy that learns from its mistakes and prizes those who stand firm in the storm. The future of the crown may no longer rest solely on kings and queens. It may depend on families like Sophie's, steady, loyal, and quietly influential. While others in the royal world draw controversy, the Edinburghs represent calm. Their example shows that sometimes the most powerful royals are the ones who say the least. As the world watches, the monarchy continues its age-old performance, half tradition, half adaptation. King Charles wears the crown, but the future seems to pulse in William's steady movements. Behind the grandeur of Buckingham Palace, the royal chessboard is being rearranged piece by piece. Every title, every engagement, every silent gesture tells a story of transition. And so, the whispers continue. Is William preparing for the throne sooner than we think? Is this quiet reorganization his way of shaping the monarchy before his time officially arrives? Or is history itself propelling the crown into a new era, ready or not? The truth may never be spoken aloud, for that is how the monarchy survives, not by declaration, but by evolution. It shifts behind closed doors, adjusts beneath the weight of history, and emerges anew without ever admitting change. Prince William's approval of new titles may seem a minor footnote in royal history, but in time, historians may mark it as the beginning of the next transformation, a subtle rebalancing of the crown's internal power, carried out not with ceremony, but with quiet certainty. And through it all stands Sophie, Duchess of Edinburgh, the woman whose grace, discretion, and unwavering dedication have become the gold standard of royal resilience. Her children now step into the spotlight she once avoided, guided by the same strength that earned her the Queen's trust and the future King's respect. The crown, as always, endures, but it does not stand still. Beneath the polished facade of Buckingham Palace, it breathes, it adapts, it whispers. Change comes not with a shout, but with a decision, one that reverberates through the corridors of power and into the hearts of those who still believe in the institution's mystique. So, when the story of this moment is told, it won't be remembered for its noise, but for its meaning. A title change, a quiet approval, and the tremor it sent through one of the world's oldest monarchies. Because sometimes, the future of the crown doesn't arrive with thunder. It arrives on tiptoe, carrying the weight of history in silence. What do you think of William's decision? Is this the dawn of a new royal era, or the start of a quieter revolution within the House of Windsor? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more royal revelations.